This video is going to add database connectivity to the Upload and Resize files lab that we've been working on. It's not really a part of the lab itself, but it's something that should come in handy for you. So we're still working with, I'm still working locally on my desktop. I've got my file upload files that we've done in other videos. I've got my server space over here, and what we want to do is one, we need a couple of tables in the database for us to store and retrieve information from. Because we're looking at uploading images, I want a category table and I want an image table. So we're going to have to create those, and then we will duplicate the resize files that we did in a previous video, and we'll use those files to add database connectivity, so that instead of hard coding that number that gets put onto the file name, we will actually create that number from what's in the database. So first things first, you need to go to phpMyAdmin and log in there. Once you're there, you need to click on your database. Mine is RJ Glotzball. And I see I actually need to delete the two tables that we're going to create here, so I'll do that real quick. Great. So now over here on the left hand side, you'll see this is my database with, just ignore all of these others that are in here. You're going to want to come to the SQL tab, and we are going to write a couple of SQL create statements and some insert statements, and it shouldn't take too long. So we're going to start with create table, and we're going to create Assign08 category and Assign08 image. So the first one, Assign08 category, that way it's not confused with your project category or anything else. Inside of that, we want to have a category ID. I'm going to make it a varchar of 50, and it's going to be the primary key of the table. In that line with a comma, we're also going to have a cat name and a cat description. So cat name, again, I'm going to use varchar of 50, comma, and cat DESC, and again a varchar of 50. Actually, for the description, let's make that a varchar of 100, because the description could be longer. And that's all for that table. Category ID, the name of the category, and the description. On to the next table. Create table, and this one's going to be Assign08 image. So inside of here we're going to have 4 columns. First one's going to be image ID, and that's going to be a varchar of 50, and that will be the primary key. Next we'll do category ID. It must match the one directly above there. So we will again do varchar of 50 because that's what the one above there is. And then we need the keyword references, and we need to refer to the table. So it's Assign08 category, and then put a set of parentheses, and inside of that set of parentheses we need to list the column that's up here inside of this table. So inside of there is going to be category ID. Again, those need to be spelled correctly and match. I also want another one called imgnum, and that one is going to be an integer, so I'll just do an int there, and then an img desc for the description, and that's going to again be a varchar, and again we'll do 100 because it's a description, no comma after that one. So there we've got the code to create a couple of tables. We're going to do some insert statements because you'll remember on our examples we've got this drop down list, but that's hard coded. And so what we want to do is actually be able to choose something from the database there. So we'll come back here and I'm going to put in there furniture, fixtures, accessories, and I'm going to add household items. So let's start with insert into, and these are going into the category table. So Assign08 category. We're going to list out the column names there. Then we'll have the keyword values, and we're going to list out the values that would go there. So let's go ahead and list the column names that are there. Category ID, it'd probably be a little faster if we went ahead and ran those top two, because then we get some code hinting popping up, but that's okay. Cat name and cat DESC. So those are our three category names. And then in here, all of them are varchars, which means all of them are going to be inside of single quotes. So I'll go ahead and separate that out. I've got my three things that are going to go there. I'll go ahead and insert furniture for the ID, the primary key, and I'm going to have the name actually be the same there. You could make that, I don't know, decorative furniture or whatever, but the one on the far left, the ID, shouldn't have any spaces in it. And then our description, we'll put a gallery of furniture. Now that we've got that, I'm going to copy that whole thing. And we're going to have 4 insert statements there. They're all going into a Assign08 category. All of this the same. What we need to change are within the values. So this second one, let's go ahead and add fixtures. And then here, fixtures again, and a gallery of fixtures. You can write different things if you want. It doesn't really matter, just so we get this done so we can use it. Accessories. And then this last one, household items. For the ID, I don't want any spaces, no spaces in there. The ID is not going to be displayed anywhere. It's the unique identifier. So I'm going to do household items like that with capital H, capital I. But then the name, the cat name, is actually going to be displayed in different places. So we'll put a space there. And then we'll go ahead and finish that out. Now you might want to copy and paste this, put it into Notepad, save it, just so you have it for later. So I'm gonna do a Control-C there, and I'm gonna paste this into Notepad, and I'll do a file save as, and we can put it out here in our folder. So now on our desktop, I already had one there, but so now on our desktop, those must be reversed for me. I've got my Notepad file there. I'll close that, and so I can refer back to this later if I want to. So it's just a text file that's there. Once we've done that, I'll hit go. You should see all green. You should see row inserted and so on. If I click on Assign08 category, it should actually list out accessories, household items, and so on. And also, if I go to image, there's nothing in there. So you just get column names is all that's there. So from there, we're ready to move on to our our files. So I've got my desktop here. Again, I'm going to be working locally, and when I get to a point I will drag and drop and push it up to the web server. So working locally here, I am interested in the ones that say upload resize. So upload resize and do upload resize. I'm going to do a Control C and a Control V. And now you'll see I've got those two that say dash copy. I'm going to get rid of the dash copy, and I'm going to put after the word do, I'm going to put a capital D, capital B. So it'll be do DB upload resize. And this other one that has copy there, I'll get rid of that. And I'll make that one DB upload resize. So now I've got these two files, and I'm going to drag and drop them in Dreamweaver so that we can start working with them. Now on the front page, we've got some things that we want to do for this front page. When I say front page, I'm talking about this landing area here. So here's our upload resize one that we did. One is we need to add something to the menu here that gets us to the page that we want to go to. So come to my local files. Inside of my includes folder, there's a menu.php. So I'm going to open up that menu, and I'll just adjust the formatting here a little bit. I'm going to have every line start with an anchor tag there. I'll put that closing paragraph tag there on the end. Indent these so now it looks a little bit nicer. And after this upload resize, I'm going to copy the one that says upload resize, paste it right below it, and put DB in front of it there, and then put the word database there. I'll hit save, but now I need to push that up to the web server. So this is my web server again. I'm going to grab what's locally that I just created, push it up to the web server. Hopefully. There we go. And when we come back here and refresh this page, now I've got database upload resize. Now if I click that, I'll get a page not found because I haven't pushed those pages up yet, but we've modified the menu there. We're done with that page, so we can just close that menu back out. And now we're going to do our minor changes here like we've done on the other pages. And all I'm going to do is add the word database in a few places. So I'll put database upload and resize there in the title. I'll come down here on the H1 and add the word database there. And then on the legend here, I'm going to make that say database connected upload and resize, and I'll just get rid of that one file there. So it'll say database connected upload and resize. Now these files we need to change. This needs to go, the action needs to go to do DB upload resize, and then this value here needs to be capital DB upload resize there. And then that should take care of the small things that we've been changing on each one of these. We also want to add a place to enter a description. So what I want to do is below this input type equal file, I want to add another list item here. And it's going to be very similar to what's above it. I'll go ahead and do the open and close list item. I'm going to go ahead and copy this entire label, open and close, to open and close label here. And I'll paste that label The title is going to equal description, as is for equals. And then that word file there that's in between the open and close label, that's going to become the word description. Now after the label, I'm going to go ahead and write the input tag out by itself. So it's input type equal, and it's going to be a text field. We're going to give it a name and ID of description. We're going to set the size on it, so the visible size will be 25 characters, and we're also going to set a max length on it of 100 because that's the maximum amount that will go into the database. We set a varchar of 100 there. So now we've got that input there. So let's go ahead and save this and push it up and just have a look at it. And the one we want is db upload resize. I'm going to go ahead and put that up on the server. Then I'll come over here. I'll click my db upload resize button here. You can tell we've gotten to the right page. Up here in the URL, we've got our capital DB there. And we've got our description and something that we can type there, so that's good. We've still got this same choose file interaction there, and those same images that I've been using in the other videos. I'm going to pause just for a second. So this is great, except this right here is still hard-coded. So what we want to do is come and take a look at that. You'll see everything is hard-coded in there. And what you're going to need is some things. I would point you back to assignment 5, where we had our database insert, select, insert, update, delete. First off, you're going to need your database, open dbcon and close dbcon. So you're going to need those files there. And it keeps doing that to me. And you're also probably going to want to open up your select.php from that lab. There's some things that we don't need to type from scratch, and I'm not going to. So what we'll do is we'll grab some of the files that we need. I'm going to copy those, and I'm going to go ahead and put them into my folder here. They should be working. So those are on the web server there, my open dbcon and close dbcon. We cannot do this on the desktop, but just so my files are similar, I'm going to go ahead and place them into the includes folder there on the desktop. So the only way we can run this is actually off of the web server there. Once we've done that, you're going to want to open up the select page, just to have a look at. If it's going to do this frequently, you're going to see me hit the pause button so that I'm not recording this waiting time. So I'll come over to my lab 5 that I have, and I want to go ahead and open up select.php. So that should open for me. This is pulling it off of the server here, so it might take a second for it to pop up. And what we want to have that open for is because it has a lot of the standard code for doing a selection, and that's what we need on that page. We need a selection. We need to select all the categories that exist in the database and then display them. And so that's what's actually in that file there for us to use. So we're going to need this OpenDBCon, obviously. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this out of here. We're working again on that forward-facing page. This is the page that we actually see. And I'm going to do that open database connection here right after the session start up at the top of the page. And then we'll come down here, and a lot of what we need is actually right in through here. So I'm going to copy from that opening PHP. I need the SQL equals, the select statement, the result equals MySQL query, and then that if-else structure, if empty result, and creating the num results there. So I'm going to copy that piece there. And I will put it, I'm going to come down here and put it above the form. So this part here, and I will add a little comment here to just kind of separate out what is new here that we're adding on. So I need all of the categories that are in the database. So I'm going to wipe out everything after the select statement here. So I'm going to do a select. I need the category ID and the category name. I do not need the description. So I'm going to say select category ID, comma, cat name from Assign08 category. That is going to give us all the categories that are listed there. So if there's 2 categories, it'll give us 2. If there's 102, it'll give us 102. But it's going to give us all the categories that exist. We'll execute that query. We'll check to see is the query empty. If it is, set the variable num results equal to 0. Otherwise, tell me how many rows there are that we're working with so that we can write a for loop later. Now down in here, in this UL, where the category is, we've got a label here for category, and then we've got a select, name equal category, ID equal category, and then we've got these options that are here. The options are what are going to become driven by the database. So let's come back to the select. And down here what we've got is a for loop. And this for loop is essentially what we've got to grab and modify, put it on the other page. So I've got from my opening PHP delimiter to the closing PHP delimiter. It's got a for loop. It does have a TR and TD in there. We're gonna wipe that out and replace it with that select piece that's there, select and options. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. I'm going to come back here. And inside of the select is where I'm going to paste it. So you can see that I've made some room there. Inside of the select, but above the options, I'm going to paste that little piece in there. And again, I'm going to come up and I'm going to grab my little comment block so I can kind of define where I'm adding some new material here, because we've used these files a few times now. I'm going to go ahead and indent the whole thing a little bit so that it's in line with the rest of what's going on there. So you can see that it's nested inside of that select statement. And we are going to say for I equal to 0 as long as I is less than the number of results, which are up here, and then increment I each time through. We'll create our row and grab the values out each time. but what we don't need is this right here. So we're going to replace that. And I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that. And instead of it being that, we want it to be one of these. So I'm just going to copy this. We'll delete it eventually. I'm going to paste it right here. So option value equals. And these two values, they cannot be hard-coded. So what we need to do is right in here, do a PHP open and close. And then this one here also is going to be a PHP open and close. Now this one is going to echo out the category ID because it's value equals. We want the ID, no spaces. And then this one is going to echo out the category name. It can have spaces because it's just what's seen in the browser is all. So we'll do an echo. Inside of that echo, we always want to trim data from the database. And inside of that trim, we want to use $row. And what we want here is category ID. I'm going to copy that entire echo statement there. And I'm going to paste it again in between this open and close PHP delimiter over here. But instead of category ID, it's going to be cat name. And now this is inside of a for loop. So it's going to happen for however many times or however many entries there are in the database. Now these three options that I've left down below, we no longer need. We do need the closing select, so don't delete that. So I'll delete the options there. You'll notice we've got the open select here. It matches up when I highlight it. And then we've got our open and close PHP to write out the rest of this. So what I want to do is save this. And then push this file back up to the web server again. So we're looking at DB upload resize. Going to drag and drop that, push it up to the web server. Yes, replace the file. And now we'll come back here, and I'm going to, you can either click the link or hit a refresh, whatever you want. But you'll notice that there are now 4 items in there, whereas before there was only 3. And if I right-click View the Source on this, you'll see the HTML that was generated. So we'll come down here, and you'll notice how it's kind of put some space in between them. But we've got value equals accessories, fixtures, furniture, household items, no spaces. And then the cat name was here, and it did have a space in it. So that's all we'll do to this one. And now I can select one of these, and then I can type a description and choose a file. And when I hit this, it's going to send the category that I chose, the description that I typed, and the file. And we can insert that into the image directory. So that's what we'll work on next here. We should be done with that page. I'll keep it open for the time being. So again in here, we're going to need some stuff from that select page. We're going to leave that session start and time limit up at the top because we're still doing the upload and resize. That has not changed. After that, we want to open the database connection once again. So I'm going to go back to that select page again and copy out some of this that we've already done before. So there's no point in my typing it out and talking about it again. So I've got the open database connection, and I'm going to go ahead and again kind of mark what's different here. So this section here is going to be a little different, and again we need that same section we copied last time. So I'll come back to the select statement, or the select page, I'm sorry, and we need this again, the SQL equals, the result equals, and that if else that sets the num results there. So I'm going to copy that, come back over to do db upload resize, and I'm going to paste it in there. Shift that over, and we're going to make some modifications here. It's going to be a little bit different from what you've done before, so you'll learn a little bit something new here. So let's erase everything after the select there. We're going to use a built-in function called max. There are lots of different things. You have max and min and average and all kinds of functions that you can use there. So I'm going to use select max, but the thing is when I use that, it does not give it a column name, something for me to grab easy. So I'm going to say as max num, like that. And max num will be the column name. So later on when I have $row, I can say $row max num and grab that value. Now max, there's only one column name that we set to be an integer, and that was image num. So we've got select max image num as max num, and then the rest we continue on from assign08 image, where category ID is equal to some value. So I put my single quotes there. Now that category ID comes from the previous page, and if we scroll down here we'll see we're using it in a couple of places already. So this right here is what I need, $_post category. I'm going to come up here in between my single quotes, and I'm going to put double quote, period, period, and then paste that $_post category. And that's going to be our SQL select statement. So select the max image number as max num. Again, max num becomes my column name. From Assign08 image, that's my table name, where the category ID is equal to the category that was selected on the previous page. We're going to send that to MySQL. It'll execute it, bring it back. We'll check to see if there's a result. Now this is where it's going to be a little bit different from what we've done in the past. I'm going to go ahead and add curly brackets here. I don't really need it for the top one, but I do need it for the else, so I'll do it in both. Now instead of num results equals 0, we're not really going to use num results on this. So I'm actually going to just get rid of both of those. And so we've got this if empty result. What we have here is a boundary case for when there are no images for that category. So nobody's uploaded any, there's 0. So that boundary case, we're going to create a variable called next number and set that equal to 1. So that means the first time that we upload an image, it's going to be like fixtures1.jpg. And that's all that's going to go in the if there, but the else has a few lines. So the first thing that we need in that else is actually the row equals MySQL fetch array. So I come back to my select page, and that row equals MySQL fetch array. I'm going to grab that. And I'm going to paste it here. Now we can do that because we expect either 1 or 0. There's either a row or there's not. And so our next part is actually finding out what is that maximum number. So I'm going to again use next number and set that equal to, I'm going to use trim, and then inside of that I'm going to use $row and look for max num. Once I have that max number, let's say there's 12 images in there, then next number is going to equal 12 right there. But we don't want next number to equal 12 for the next image that's uploaded. So we do a next number plus plus, and that's going to increment it by 1. So now, we've finished up that little section there. I'm going to pause and take a drink. Okay. Now that we've created this variable next number, that's actually the number that we want to be a part of the file name. So fixture 1, fixture 2, fixture 3, and so on. Which means this hard-coded variable down here, this counter equals, we no longer need that. We're going to replace $counter with $next number. So I'm going to get rid of that. And there's a couple of places that I have used $counter, here and here. So what I want to do is double click this, and I'm going to copy that next number, and I'm going to replace $counter with the next number. And that's going to allow my file names to increment properly like they're supposed to. Now the file uploading is going to take care of itself. We've already done that in another video, so it's gonna work just like it was in the others. We're not really touching the file uploading part. I'm going to add another small part right here, and that is an insert into the database. So I'm going to do that right above the resize image there, but I am outside of those if-else blocks. You'll see the closing curly bracket there. I'm going to make another $SQL, but I'm going to make it SQL2 so that it's different. I don't really need to, but I'm going to. Inside of that SQL2, we need an insert statement. So we'll do insert into, and we are inserting images, right? So insert into Assign08 image. And we want to list out the column names, values. So there's our base start for it. And then the image table had 4 columns in it. We had image ID, category ID, which references the category it belongs to, image num, and also image description. So those are our column names there. And then in here we have 3 of those are text, so they need single quotes, and one of them is an integer. It does not need single quotes. So I think I'm going to do them one at a time. The first one there, those single quotes are for the image ID, and what we are going to use for an image ID is actually the file name, because the file name is unique on the server. If you duplicate it, you're going to replace a file that's there. So we're going to use the file name as the image ID. So in between these 2 single quotes, I'm going to do double quote, period, period, and then what I need is next number. Oh no, sorry. What I need is new file name. And you want to make sure that you grab new file name. Do not grab up file because it's got the upload slash. Grab new file name. And in between those dots, I'm going to paste that new file name. So now I'm after that single quote. I put a comma. I have another set of single quotes there, comma, and then I have an integer that's going to go here, and then a last set of single quotes. So this is the category ID. And again, we've used category ID in a couple places. It is right here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that $_post. And then in between this set of single quotes here, I'm going to put double quote, period, period, and then paste my $_post category there. And again, that is the category that was chosen on the previous page, and it was submitted to this page. Now, the third column we're inserting into is the image number, and that is next number. So I'm going to copy that variable next number there. Now there's no single quotes because it's an integer in the database. So again, no single quotes, but we still do double quote, in between that, period, period, in between that, next number. This last set of single quotes out here is the image description. Now we have not used that, but it's the same as a $_post, but instead of category, it's description. So it's posted from the previous page, so I'm going to copy that. In between these single quotes, put 2 double quotes, put 2 periods, paste that $_post category, but the word category needs to change to description. That word description comes from the previous page, which is name equals description right here. And so now we've formed our insert statement. If you are not sure if your insert statement is correct, put an echo statement right here. Write out $SQL2 right there. But also, you've got to comment this out. And when you comment out that header redirect, it will stop on this page and it will write this out for you, and you'll at least be able to copy and paste it into PHPMyAdmin and see if it works. So that's how you can do some testing there. I'm going to uncomment my header redirect. I'm going to comment out my echo statement. And then what I need is to actually execute that. And that's the same line that we have up here, this result equals MySQL query. So I'm going to grab that and come down here and paste it. But a critical thing, it is not $SQL that you want there, it is SQL2 that we are using. And so that should successfully insert that image in. So let's go ahead and save that, and we're going to push that file up and start some testing. So we've got do db upload resize. Great. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look in these folders, and if there's anything in there, I'm going to delete it. That way we know with our testing that if something is in there, it is as a result of what we just did. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that out of the upload, the thumb, and the mid folder. And now my 3 upload folders are empty. I'll come back here. I'm going to look at PHPMyAdmin. I've got to log back in again. And again, you have to make sure that you choose your database. And I'm going to look at Assign08 image. And there's nothing in there right now. I'm going to come here. This page should be ready to go. I'm going to choose furniture. I know it's not an image of a piece of furniture, but that's okay. I'm going to write a lovely coffee table with a maple finish and hit upload file. Hopefully things will go well for us. We've made it back here, so my first thing is let's look in the mid-sized folder. There is an image there. So we've got it resized there. Thumbnail image down to 160 by 120. And I'm sure it's here too, because it has to be here in order for it to be in the other two. There's the original 1024 by 768. That's half the battle. We're going to come back to the web browser, come back to PHP MyAdmin, and I'm just going to click on Assign08 Image again. And now I have something in the database, furniture1.jpg, furniture, image number is 1. This column right here is very helpful. I know it's kind of duplicating some data we've got over here, but it makes things so much easier having this integer column that's here. That was the boundary case. There was none in there before, now there is one. So let's come back and let's do it again. I'm going to, oops, I forgot to change one thing. I'm on the wrong page here. Upload resize. So let's come back to do db upload resize and this header redirect at the bottom. The location needs to be a capital D, capital B. Save that, and we're going to have to push that up to the server once again. So again, I've got do db upload resize. Replace the file. Great. So now let's come back and let's get on the correct page. I want to use the same thing that I had before. Choose a different photo. Let's say a round table made of marble. That's going to be an expensive sucker. Upload file. So there we have that. We'll do a quick check this time. I'm not going to spend quite as much time. Upload, our original image will be there. So we've got furniture 2. So that's the first thing I want you to notice is that the numbering is taking place. And we'll check the thumb just so that you can see. So th underscore furniture 2 once again. Let's come back over to here and I'm going to select Assign08 image once again. And again, we've got furniture2.jpg and image number of 2 and our image description that's going in there. So I'm going to just do a few more. I'll make this count to 3. Taking a little longer to upload that image, but I am using full-size images instead of smaller ones. There we go. So let's go ahead and come back here, refresh that image folder, and there we've got, oh, we've got a problem. So something happened here. So we'll have to track that down. Let's try it again. Interesting that it inserted. I shouldn't have allowed that. come back here. What we're going to do is be a good exercise. We're going to go ahead and echo out this insert statement. I commented out this header redirect. It's still going to try to insert, which is fine, but we're going to try to track down our problem here. So I'm going to save this, upload resize, come back here, and I'm going to refresh this again. And so we've run into some kind of a problem here. So I need to push that file up back to Lab08. And do db upload resize, push up to the web server. And let's see if we can tell what's happening here. So let's try that again. Furniture, I'm going to choose that same number 7, upload the file, and now we should stop on that processing page and have either an error or our echo statement that comes out. Okay, so we've got undefined variable new file name, line 75, insert into values, and yes, it is blank there. So let's go and check this out and see if we can determine what's happening. So it's saying at that point new file name is not there. We would automatically have, we would have gotten that, and that without being in this if else block here. So my question is, what file type is that? It says it's a case sensitivity. Case sensitivity it is. Alright, so there's a couple ways we can fix this. One way to fix it is just rename this file, which is what I'm going to do. But another way is to convert the file name to all lowercase. So you could also take that approach. So hopefully, there we go. So we'll refresh that. We'll come out, come back to our folder here. I'm going to change this back, comment out our echo statement once again, make our header redirect work fine, hit a save there. I need to push that back up to the server. So do db upload resize. Replace the file. I'll come back to here. We're back on this page and refresh. On here, I'm going to delete this one that shouldn't be there in the first place. Say OK. And I'm going to refresh that page again. So I've got my furniture 1, furniture 2. Let's try this again. Furniture, choose my file, 7 with a lowercase JPG, hit upload file. Oh, now I have a different problem. Possible file upload attack. So let's see what triggered that. So it did not get uploaded to the temp location, and it took a little while, so I'm not sure what happened there. Let's try with another file. Maybe that file is just corrupt, even though it's showing even though it's showing a preview. So there we're back to functioning again. So my best guess there is that that file has something corrupt, something wrong with it, and it's not functioning. Let's choose accessories. So now notice our category ID is changing, and also notice that in image num we have multiple ones, but this one is for accessories and this one is for furniture. And a great pair of earrings. And now we've got accessories 1, accessories 2. Again, image num, we've got a 1 and a 2 here and a 1 and a 2 here, but those 1s and 2s go with the category that's listed. So that's very important for you to understand. Let's do this a couple more times. Okay, so we've done this several times. You'll see how the image table is being built. We've got 2 in accessories, we've got 2 in fixtures, we've got 3 in furniture and 3 in household items. You'll notice how the category ID for household items has no spaces, but you cannot simply select the max image num from the image table. You have to have a where clause that says where the category is X, Y, or Z, right? So you have to have the where clause there. And if we come back here, where we did that select max, we have a where clause where category ID equals the category that was chosen from that drop-down list. Now if you want to display those again, your folder structure is already defined for it. You've defined it. You've got an upload folder, a thumb folder, and a mid folder. So if you want to display the thumbnails, then on your select page, on your image gallery page, you would do a select image ID, image name, image description from Assign08 image, where category equals household items, and then it would give you these 3 items, and then you would write out image tags in a for loop. So down here, just like we did, not on this page, but on this page, just like we did here with a for loop. But in here, instead of an option tag, you would be looking at creating an image tag where the image source is thumbs slash and then row category or image ID. So that was not a terrible lot. It took us a while to get through it all because we did quite a few things. We created a couple of tables there. that we were using here. Now, granted, this is part of a larger database, right? There's other tables that need to be created. We made this drop-down list so that it pulls from the database. We added this description here. We kept the uploading and resizing, so we're still uploading the full size, the mid size, and the thumb size. But then after that completes, we do an insert to the database, which continues to add to this image table here. So hopefully that serves you well and helps you with your understanding. Again, it's not really part of the lab assignment, but it is very useful for the project. So